Join us as we unravel the mystery behind Muti.
Hi guys, today we're in Soshanguve in Pretoria, and joining us today is Utata Makhanyakude. So just take us into what we're in, where we're in, what kind of space we're in, and what we're doing here.
All right, welcome to my space. So this is where I work as a traditional healer. People come here to consult with me. So we make use of herbs, and I also make use of water. But that is at the basis of us having had a conversation on what is bothering you, and then we would obviously have a divination, and then that's how we then get to the part where we need to treat whatever challenge that you might have.
So I can imagine coming here as like going to the doctor. I come here with an ale and I sit down here and I tell you what's wrong with me.
Absolutely.
In grave detail or just minute detail. And you tell me what's up and you prescribe a sort of herb or medicine for me, correct? So I just want to know a bit about what kind of herbs you use for particular ails. And the most basic one, or rather the one I prefer to start with, is umpepo. Like, how do you use it in this space?
Okay. So, impepo has two basic functions. The primary function is its cleansing property. So you can use it to cleanse your spiritual space. So our inclination is that in as much as you get good air, you also get bad air. So there's that element, in everything, the good and the bad. So we then use impepo to cleanse your space of negative negative vibes, if you want to call it that. And then another function that you can use it for, I've seen other people use it to steam. If, for example, you've got flu maybe, or
Sinuses.
Exactly, like sinuses as well. So I've seen people use it to steam. So you can use it in those two forms, in a smoke form or in a steam form, as it were.
So it has spiritual and actual physical.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then I just want to ask about your setup.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
So do you want to, like, why black and white? I see a lot of black, white and red.
Yeah.
So is there significance to those colors? Because they seem to be prominent everywhere.
Okay. So this is all symbolism. And I think symbolism is everywhere, practically. So this is my symbol, basically. The sun is my symbol. And the principle is that the sun is our most physical presence of God, or of the Creator, as it were. So that's why we have the sun. And white obviously represents peace, love, tranquility. Red symbolizes blood, blood meaning our heritage. It's there to remind us of where we come from. Blood is also there to remind us that we are people of the earth, the earth element. Nature and all the elements that exist in nature. So I identify more with the earth element. And then black stands for divinity, divine, basically that which is divine, that which is spiritual, that which is holy. All right?
Which is this domain.
Yeah. And then otherwise these are all my guys.
Storage place.
Yeah.
So I see a couple of plants I might know. The first one is this popping aloe over here.
Oh yeah, sure.
So I know that this can be used for, as much as it's used for decorative, horticultural uses, it can also be used for medicinal uses. Now,
Sure.
What medicinal uses can we use the aloe that everybody has at home for?
Well, aloes are quite flexible.
Yeah.
Their uses are, quite, they vary. But I mean, you can use aloe you've got dreadlocks, you can use aloe to apply on your scalp for dandruff, for example. You can also drink it, cleanses your system as well, strengthens your immune system. When you've got an upset tummy, for example, your what do you call this? Your stomach bug. You can take aloe. It can sort you out. What other properties are there? Yeah, as it's also a cleansing agent. When you come from crowded places, I normally say to people, when you come from crowded places, it's very important that you cleanse your space. I'm not sure if you've noticed that should you go to a wedding, mall, or whatever, when you come back from such places, you really feel heavy because you interact with a lot of people. You can just throw that in clean water, rinse yourself, you're good to go. So, yeah.
And then that plant over there.
This one here.
Yes.
This is a snama in Zulu. And I think in Tswana is snama as well. So basically snama, so it works like a glue.
I see it's got thorns on it.
You know what I mean? And when you put your hands on it, it's sticky. So it works like a glue when you make your, because say for instance you put together a combination of herbs, okay, and then you need to do that to them in order to make them stronger.
To bind them.
To bind them, as it were.
So it's
and then you
agent.
You add it as a binding agent. You should become a healer, man. Yeah, and then that's what you do.
I'll be a scientific healer.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah.
And okay, now you were just talking about mixing certain herbs and plants. Mm-hmm. So when I go to the market,
yeah,
I just simply find plants randomly placed, and obviously once you call the name, they give you what it is, or you can pick something up and buy it. But obviously here is where the application really comes in, mm-hmm, of those plants from the market. Mm-hmm. So just a simple concoction, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, just an example of a concoction you might make to heal, like, I don't know, some flu, a headache. What would you normally, how do you know what to put where?
So obviously we go through a process of training and initiation.
Yes.
And that's where we get taught, what to put together for what. So yeah, that's where we learn. But say now you've got back pain, what would we put together?
Yes.
So obviously I don't have, I don't have your, what do you call, your scientific name, but I've got a herb called memeza.
Memeza. And you combine it with?
Memeza, you can just take it on its own with warm water. It's good for back pains, for example.
Is it ground or is it in its?
Memeza is more like a bark. Yes. Yeah, memeza is a bark, and then you crush the bark, and then you just turns into powder like any other herb, for example. You have it in a powder form. It's somewhere here, just, probably, yeah. But practically they all look like this. I mean, we crush them, and then you just take a spoon, put it in warm water, have it like tea, then you're good to go.
Speaking of
back pain,
your supplies.
Yeah.
Can you just give us I know I can see a bit of bark,
yes,
and a bit of herbs like leaves that have been ground.
Mm-hmm.
Do you actually leaves. That's actually leaves.
Yeah, this is leaves.
What do we call this?
That
smells like tea.
Yeah, smells like tea.
It smells so good.
Like
rooibos tea.
Yeah.
So what do we call that?
So this one is mhlonishwa.
And what is it used for?
Mhlonishwa, you can use it for, it's also a cleansing property, but it is meant to also enhance your feel-good aura. When you want to feel good about yourself, you bring me up.
So
pick me up.
Ah.
Type of plant.
If I had a really bad day.
Yeah, and you're trying to.
Do I drink it? Do I?
No, you this one you bath with it.
I bath with it.
You bath with this one.
And so I just want to ask, do you actually ground all these by yourself when you buy them, or do you buy them already ground?
No, I do the hard labor for myself.
You have to do the hard labor.
I do.
Is it because you need to see the physical material being ground first?
Well, herbalists just pick up the stuff and they just make it clean and tidy for it, to be sellable. But in terms of packaging, and you have to do that yourself.
You have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm asking this because at the market you might get your whole plant before it's ground.
Yes.
And then you might actually find the ground supply.
Oh, yeah. Ah, yeah.
So I just want to know, do you prefer to rather go and buy the whole plant or to buy the ground?
Oh, no,
is it
no.
a matter of convenience, or is there
Oh, no. I like the raw stuff that hasn't been ground.
actual
Exactly.
whole plant?
Yeah, because then I want to, because learning never stops.
Yes.
So for me, for example, when I discover a new plant, I first would like to learn, how does it look like? How does it smell like? After you ground it, how does it look like? How do the remains look like? So for me, it's important for me to have that wide understanding.
So you're like a botanist. You want to see the physical tree.
There you
wanna
go.
See how it looks like when it's destroyed.
Absolutely.
Its application.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, look at that.
Exactly, because then all different phases and stages have got uses.
Of the plant.
Yeah, they've got uses. So yeah.
So I can actually say that traditional healers are great as botanists.
Oh,
so you
yeah.
guys see the plant in all its growth form
we are.
and its applications.
We are.
So now I see, so fun. I see this has been used, this
Yep.
bulb over here.
Yeah.
I actually work with bulbs.
Yeah.
And I just want to know if you could just take us through what that is and what it is used for.
Okay, this is scanam in Zulu. Or I think Tswanas also call it scanam.
Yeah.
Scanam. So I cut this because I was making a concoction treating urinary tract infection.
Oh.
Okay, so this is also a good cleansing agent against bugs. It cleanses bacteria as well. So yeah, I put together scanama with other herbs to treat urinary tract infection.
Would that be ingested by the
Yes.
the user?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it also have like
I-
exterior?
I was about to
uses?
say that some people actually bath with it, but it's very itchy on the skin.
So I've heard.
Yeah, it's very itchy. So if you want to drink it, it's fine. But if you want to have it in liquid form, drink it. It's cool. But if you go into bath with it, then it gets very itchy.
Now I just have a question about dosage.
Dosage, okay.
Yes. Because I feel like most healers have different concoctions and different dosages for it. How do you measure a dosage for a person? Do you look at me in my physical form, am I skinny, tall, short, female, male, and does that influence how you would prescribe your medicine to me? Or is it just standard form, 3 shreds of the leaves and whatnot? The
Okay.
methodology behind it.
Interesting methodology that we have around dosages. My approach is that I need to. So we also see plants as spiritual beings.
Yes.
Okay. So before I use a plant, I first need to check whether it resonates with you. It resonates with your spirit. Okay. So the spirit of the plant needs to be in sync with your spirit. And then what I do then, I normally say that we need to also test whether your system will respond positively to a particular medicine. Okay. So I always, regardless of who you are, regardless of your disease, if I give you something to take, there's always a period where I'm just testing whether your body responds to the medicine negatively or positively. And then after I've done that and we have proven that, for example, it doesn't react negatively, or your body doesn't react negatively, that's when I then put a general dosage, for example. Okay, so we normally put our stuff in a 2-liter bottle, for example. So if you've got something in a 2-liter bottle, then I would say you take half a cup a day. Okay, so
this
that's
is in my monitoring phase.
This is like is like your monitoring phase, and then it's over 3 days or 7 days. Then when we find that your body's responding to it positively, and then we can say you take a cup a day, for example.
So you up the dose.
You up the dose, yes, because there's in my humble opinion, there's a myth that African herbs or natural herbs don't have side effects. I've seen it with me. I take something and my body reacts in a very funny way. So you're always going to get side effects. Well, this is my opinion, and you need to check against that if someone responds positively or negatively to a particular prescription.
So I can imagine if you have to monitor each and every person that walks into this abode.
Yeah.
It means that you have to limit the number of people you can actually heal at a certain period, because you have to monitor them. So in terms of, how we see nowadays, like people just going to the market and buying, let's just say, skenam, and them knowing the knowledge behind it, but them not being healers, going home and actually applying that can be quite deadly, correct?
Honestly, that can be dangerous, I tell you. See, the advantage with Western medicine, you can always Google whatever piece of medicine you have. You can just go and check different side effects, positives, negatives. But with us, it's a bit tricky. And another aspect with us is that one herb has got so many uses.
Yes.
That's why you find, for example, if I were to give this to another healer, he would probably give me 5 other functions that I didn't know of, you see. So that's why I always recommend to people that before you make use of anything, at least try to consult with someone that knows. But most of our herbalists know, they have the knowledge of, extensive knowledge about herbs and stuff. So you just check with them and whether something is good for you and whether you can apply it in a particular dosage, and then you're good to go. But it's definitely dangerous to just go randomly and drink and drink it. Yeah.
So what do you have to say about those that are not healers yet have that knowledge and are applying it and it works, but what message of, awareness would you like to send out to them to say, okay, listen, as a healer, this is my standpoint, and as a healer, this is what I think you should be cautious of and cognizant of when you are using our medicine?
Yeah. Well, the first thing that I would like to say, people don't see us as scientists.
No.
For me to know what this does, what time, how you should also prepare it, I think that's a scientific process.
That is.
It's based on research, it's based on
years of...
You know what I mean? Experiment as well. Sometimes I experiment on myself, sometimes I'll experiment with my clients. So first and foremost, I think we need to debunk the myth that this is pure superstition, scientific.
Yes.
Secondly, then it gets very tricky for people to play around with scientific principles without necessarily knowing how they work or how to apply them. So my advice is always consult with someone that knows. Consult with your healer, before you drink anything, before you take anything, and before you sell anything. Because we also have people that just sell stuff and give it to people and say this is going to take away whatever. See.
So now, interesting fact. Did you know that in South Africa there's actually more sangomas than practicing doctors?
You don't say.
I do say.
Yeah?
Meaning that what you're doing here is actually more renowned in our country than Western medicine.
Wow.
So as now that you know you're popular.
Yeah.
as a practicing sangoma, with all of this, how's your day to day? How's that? Because we know what doctors do in and out.
Yeah. Okay, so it depends on whether the previous day was how demanding the previous day was in terms of energy, in terms of clients.
Okay.
But on a typical peaceful day, then I'd wake up at around 8, have tea, breakfast, and then come outside, just greet the sun, then go back into the house and take a bath, take a shower, come out here, say my prayers, pour my libations, speak to God, speak to my ancestors, This is when I don't have an appointment in the morning, for example.
Okay.
This is just a peaceful, ideal day. Then you say your prayers, you pour libation, you speak to your ancestors, give thanks for life, prepare yourself for the day, and probably get your first client around 1 p.m. lunchtime. Then take your first client, take your second client if there's a second client, third client if there's a third client.
How long does a typical consultation take?
Difficult to tell, hey? It depends on what comes up, really. Yeah, it depends on what comes up during the reading. I mean, my shortest reading I've had was like 10 minutes. Someone came in here and I just told them, and asked them, why are you here? And they're like, oh, because of this. And I'm like, it's because of that. And then it was done. It's like, that's it? I'm like, yeah, that's it. Literally 10 minutes. I've sat here for 3 hours with someone.
3 hours?
3 hours, yeah. I'm talking straight.
Oh.
Someone cries, you need to create time.
Can I say that you provide not just medicine for the people, you also provide some sort of counseling?
Absolutely.
So you're also a therapist in your right.
Absolutely.
And as long as you practice medicine,
Yeah.
and you're a therapist,
Yeah.
and you divine, and so okay.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
That's the thing with what we do. So there are people who come here and there's no medicine that happens. We just come here purely to talk. And you sit here and you talk for 2 hours, 3 hours, But of course you structure your conversation so that it honors the principle of consultation. So yeah, you do that.
Huh. That is interesting.
Yeah.
Now I'm just gonna go back into the store
Yeah.
and see what we've got. What is that bright pink powder over there?
This pink powder, in Zulu we call it umkhando. Okay?
Umkhando.
Yeah. So umkhando also works as your enhancer. When you mix your herbs, it also works as an enhancer. You can use it in combination with herbs, and you can also use it on its own. So you'll notice that you get different colors of umkhando. So this is pink. Let me pick up this one here. And this is green, for example. So it depends what your goal is and what your intention is.
Okay.
So normally I would use this for people that would like to look pretty and attractive.
So
look.
it's pretty in pink.
Yeah. When you want to look pretty, for prosperity, for attracting that one person, if you are single, then you make use of this one. All right.
Okay.
Sure.
And then I just see a couple of leaves over here. They look like bay leaves.
These are bay leaves. I love bay leaves.
Got it right.
I love bay leaves.
So besides cooking, what are...
So bay leaves have got... I love bay leaves, man.
Smell divine.
Yeah. Bay leaves, you make use of bay leaves. I use them in prayer. In prayer, yeah. Because our spirituality is very symbolic. You'll notice that in almost in everything that we do, there's a symbol for it.
Yes.
Okay. So I use bay leaves in prayer. So for example, if I'm praying for a car, then I'll just write car here with a permanent marker, and then I'll burn it. And then voila.
You're gonna get your car.
Yeah, well, a principle is that fire is an element that helps us to manifest things. So
the burning of things.
Yeah, so the burning of things is just a symbolic performance that,
It's like you putting it out there in the universe.
Absolutely. I told you should be a healer. That's how you do it. Yeah.
So I write what I want and
and then you
put it into the universe.
Yeah.
And I hope it comes to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And as it stands like this, then it also symbolizes your intention or your desire.
Which is
as a bay leaf, yeah. And then you just say new girlfriend, and then you burn it.
I don't think there's enough space to write all our problems. I guess it's a wish list.
Yeah.
A bay leaf.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I see that you've been burning some looks like a pepper.
Yeah, that one is in pepper.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is in that sachet of it?
On the you can pass me the bag. In the bag this is a bag of our oracles. So all our oracles are in here. when we divine people, and then we consult with the oracle, and they tell us stories about your life and your challenges and your blessings, things that you need to be aware of, things that you need to deal with in order to heal whatever situation that you could be having that could be creating a blockage, for example.
So now brings me to this question. What is the difference between a sangoma and a nyanga? What clearly defines the two from each other?
What clearly defines the two is that an inyanga majors in herbs. Herbs are an inyanga's specialist. Okay, a sangoma majors in psychic abilities. To divine, yes. For example, an inyanga will not have, if we had to use the example of a credit score, you know what I mean? The psychic abilities of an inyanga are not as high as those compared to that of, absolutely. Makes sense.
That's the easiest way to actually.
And the other way as well, sangoma will not be so much knowledgeable with regards to herbs compared to an inyanga.
Okay, now to come to the finicky stuff that everybody is so curious about, but nobody ever wants to ask.
Yeah.
You know that there are medicines out there, rather plants or herbs that are known to do certain things that are just quite, well, to the normal, like blasé.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you have a plant called kunyoga, which is supposed to take you out of sticky situations.
Yes.
And you have certain plants where if you put it on you, you can just, I don't know, nobody will see you. You're invincible to the eye.
Yeah.
Do you get consultations of people actually wanting applications like that?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you must remember, for us it was quite normal to be in touch with nature and to be in touch with forces of nature. And forces of nature are dynamic in that they are not limited, number one, to the weather. Forces of nature are not limited to what the sun is supplying heat to the trees, you know, the biological and ecological, right? Yes. They're not limited to that. In as much as you sit here, you possess biological functions, chemical functions, kinetic functions.
Yes.
You also possess spiritual functions. So you have your spiritual side, you have your emotional side. And nature is just like that as well. So if in nature you find an energy that can help you escape from sticky situations, it's there for the taking. And you just make use of it, you know?
That is interesting. That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, going back to you being a doctor for the day.
Yeah.
It's winter.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Yeah.
Just experienced one of the coldest days of winter.
Yeah.
What would you prescribe me for flu?
For flu?
For keeping warm. Yeah, and basically
Ginger, garlic, honey, lemon. You'll never go wrong.
Really?
You'll never go wrong. If you don't have flu yet, take those on a regular. That's going to strengthen your immune system to keep the bug away. If you've got the bug already, take that. It's going to
Do I combine all of them together?
Yeah. Very nice. You combine all of them together.
With the garlic.
With the garlic, yeah. With the garlic. You must just find yourself a nice teapot and just make your mixture there. And yeah, have it with honey. Then it's the nicest tea.
Like, given that we're in winter, what sort of medical consultations do most people come to you about? Like, I know, is it seasonal, the consultations? Is it because it's summer, some people feel certain ails? It's winter, some people feel certain ails. Like on the physical, not on the spiritual. Like, are your clients climatic, if I may ask?
That's interesting. Now that I've noticed that, wow, this is interesting. It's true that in summer you get more people consulting with you. So in summer, in holidays, you get more people consulting with you. I think it's also connected to time. Yeah, when someone feels no, this issue is not a pressing issue. I'm not going to get out of the house. It's too chilly. I'll see him Saturday. Saturday, then it gets a bit cold. He goes, no, I'll see him. So I don't think that people pitch based on the fact that problems are connected to the weather, maybe per se, but I just think it's a question of time. That it's much convenient for you to go consult in summer because, you know, it's hot and you don't mind getting around.
Okay,
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. And then like, since we're here, might as well, in a pharmacy.
Yeah.
So it's winter. Let's see. I'm trying to think of. Okay, yeah. So I go to the doctor.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I have flu, and the doctor would give me a flu shot, or rather, the doctor will say, hey, you need to come through and get your flu vaccination.
Yeah.
Do you guys have something equivalent to a flu vaccination?
Okay, so our approach to healing is different, obviously, from the Western principle. Our inclination is that if you take care of your cells will take care of your body. So you need to eat food and take meds that take care of your cells so that your cells can take care of your body. So if you eat right, for example, like I said, even before you get flu, you take your regular ginger, garlic, and the concoction. Yeah. You strengthen your immune system. Then your body's able to keep the flu back away. You understand? So that's then our approach to say it's both preventative and it's also that you need to take care of your cells. Then you're good to go. Then you don't need.
So we can
These
say it's a
other-
more holistic approach.
Holistic approach. That's
to
true.
healing yourself.
That's true.
Okay.
So these are oracles that we use to divine people with. Yeah, so you would normally ask for God and for the spirit and for the ancestors to guide you as you were taking a microscopic view of your life.
A microscopic.
Yeah, making use of the oracles. So yeah. And then after you've said your prayer and your invocations, then you just throw your bones like that. And yeah, then we're able to see. Then these oracles are the ones that I use to find that out. Okay? So I would just ask a question in relation to the herb, in relation to you, and then I would just do this. I would just do this. Then this would then be my reply.
You would know the reply.
Then I would know the reply. And then if I have more questions, more reservations, stuff that I'd like to verify, then I simply repeat the process, and I do this, then I do that. Then I get my reply. Okay, that's how it works.
So depending on which side
Yes.
they're facing.
Yes, if you just take a closer look, they are all carved differently.
Yes.
So different carvings stand for different meanings. Okay. So, yeah. So one day when you do your PhD in oracles, then we will take you through how the system of oracles.
How to read the oracles.
It's an interesting scientific story as well. So yeah.
Can't wait.
You're welcome.
That journey.